Text, Disability Law Center. Your rights matter. Discrimination in housing. This presentation is general information and is not legal advice. Only an attorney can give you legal advice to help with a specific problem or answer a specific question. The DLC has attorneys on staff, so if you would like questions answered about certain situations, give us a call.
The Disability Law Center is the protection and advocacy agency for the state of Utah. The DLC assists people with disabilities with a variety of issues. The DLC also has a fair housing program to address discrimination in housing, which is available to people who belong to all protected classes, not just people with disabilities. There are a number of things in housing situations that landlords shouldn't be doing. We'll go through some examples now.
One method of discrimination is refusing to rent or sell to someone because they belong to one of the protected classes.
Text, Nate Cripps, DLC staff attorney.
The federally protected classes are race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, and disability. In Utah, there are 3 additional protected classes, which are source of income, sexual orientation, and gender identity.
Statements like, "We don't rent to refugees," or "We don't take housing vouchers," are blanket statements which might indicate an owner's refusal to rent or sell to someone who is protected. Oftentimes, however, this refusal is much more subtle, and the person experiencing discrimination may not even know what has happened to them.
Secondly, refusing to negotiate for housing is discrimination. This is where someone doesn't have a chance to get their foot in the door to have a conversation about a place to live. Examples of this would be an owner hanging up on a person when they hear an accent, or just not calling someone back who leaves a message. Next, making housing unavailable is also a form of discrimination. This is where a housing provider is dishonest with someone looking for a place to live about the unit's availability.
3 women go down the sidewalk in front of some houses, one of them in a wheelchair.
An owner might tell one person it's already been rented and tell another that it's available just to screen out people they don't want to rent to.
A man walks a dog past apartments.
Additionally, denying a dwelling is when a housing provider denies a person's application based on their protected class status. This is also discrimination.
Another way a landlord may discriminate is to falsely say that a unit is unavailable for inspection. Because most people would want the opportunity to look at a unit before they sign a lease, being falsely told that a unit is unavailable for inspection has the same effect as a denial of housing. If there is something at an apartment complex for people to use or have access to, generally, everyone should have access, not just select groups of people.
Outside a house, the woman with the clipboard speaks to the woman in the wheelchair.
Housing providers should not set different terms, fees, or conditions dependent upon membership in a protected class. For example, rent should not be $1,000 for someone who is white and $1,500 for someone who is black. It should be $1,000 for everyone if that is the advertised price.
The last example of discriminatory conduct is called steering. This is when different housing options are offered to different individuals or groups of people. Someone might be steered to a different neighborhood because an owner might think it's a better fit somewhere else. Families with children are often steered to basement apartments. The problem with steering is that a person's choice in where they can live is taken away from them.
The man with the dog enters the Disability Law Center.
Discrimination in housing can be subtle and hard to detect, and a person may not even know it is happening to them. Sometimes a person may have only a feeling that they are being discriminated against. If you suspect any discrimination is happening, here are some things you can do. Write down what you think is occurring as soon as you suspect anything. Document conversations that you have with your landlord. Keep any information that may be related to your situation, which could be used to verify your claims of discrimination, and ask for any communication with your landlord in writing. In Utah, it is generally legal to record a conversation that you were a part of. This can help you obtain evidence you can use to prove that discrimination is occurring. Another way to do it is to take notes right after any conversation or interaction you have in a journal of some kind. If you or someone you know has experienced housing discrimination or you would like more information about fair housing, you can contact the Disability Law Center by calling 1-800-662-9080, emailing us at fairhousing@disabilitylawcenter.org, or by visiting our website www.disabilitylawcenter.org.
Text Utah Relay number 711 at sorensonvrs.com.
You may also contact UALD by calling 801-530-6800 or the HUD Regional Office by calling 1-800-877-8255. 7353 to file a complaint on your own.
HUD website https://www.hud.gov/ Equal Housing Opportunity. Disability Law Center. Your rights matter. The work that provided the basis for this publication was supported, in part by funding under a grant awarded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The substance and findings of the work are dedicated to the public. The authors and publisher are solely responsible for the accuracy of the statements and interpretations contained in this publication. The Federal Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, sex, national origin, familial status, religion, or disability. Utah law also prohibits discrimination based on source of income in the rental, purchase, and sale of real property. The publication was funded in part by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Center for Mental Health Services, the U.S. Department of Education, and the Social Security Administration. The contents of this publication are the sole responsibility of the authors and do not represent the official views of these agencies.